Let's now start with the UI of our application. We have been testing application on Postman and Swagger all this while. So let's create a UI and try to hit all our CRUD operations on the UI now. So as discussed yesterday, if we have to send the response, okay, so now we'll do the CRUD operations like this. We'll show all the data on the UI part, in the left window. So all this while we were showing data on Postman. So if you want to return a response as a JSON object, we use the REST controller. And if you want to return the response as a front-end view, okay, or front-end HTML or JSP page, then we have to use the @controller. And whatever we will return will be the name of the view, and we have to place the views, that is the HTML files, in the templates folder. So let's take a test, make a test controller. So I noted with @controller, I make a dummy endpoint called greet UI, and it returns me welcome. So it should there should be a view by this name welcome in the templates. So I go to the templates and there is a view by the name welcome.html. Okay, I've also added a dependency called Thymeleaf to generate these views. Okay, so we have one dependency called as Thymeleaf. So if you are working with the front end part, better we add this dependency also. Okay, so once done, let's try to test whether this greet UI is working. I do a right click, run as Java application. So I'll be hitting the, okay, once this Springboot application has started, let's try to do a local host. What is the port number on which it has started? Check that, 8086. Okay, so port number 8086, and I'm saying greet UI, right? I do a send and I get the response, welcome to Spring UI. So I get the response of the welcome, and in the welcome file I have written welcome to Spring UI. Okay, testing has been done. So to create such a view now, so this I am showing. So let's first try this part of this view, wherein we will fetch all the, which entity were we working on? Student. So we'll fetch all the students like this red color boundary which I have. Okay, and we'll try to display it on our web page. So as we had discussed in Spring MVC, there are how many ways of sending data from backend to front end? Yes, guys. How many ways are there? Model, model map, and model, model map, and model and view. And there are how many ways of sending it from the front end? That is model attribute. Okay. So what I will do right now is, and that is the annotation, correct? Model attribute is a annotation. So now what I'll do is I'll try to make a endpoint saying this as my home endpoint. Okay, this is my home page. Okay, and so I'll mark it with home page. And what I'll try to do is I'll fetch all the students over here. Okay, so I'll return this to student list. I'll return the list of students. So if I return student list means what should be there? There should be a view by the name student list. My screen is visible to everybody, right? So I go and make a new HTML file by the name student list dot HTML. Okay, so this done. Now let's fetch all the students. So that would be a list of student. I'll call them as students and I will use my student service. This is the same service we have been using for the JSON data. And what? No, this will be something else, no? Find all is in the repository. Get all students. You see this? We have a function called get all students. So I'll control shift O and import both the classes list from list and student from my package, right? And now I want to send this data to the view. So I will send it as a model, and that model should be a parameter in the function. Do a control shift O to import model, import it from Spring Framework UI model. Okay, be careful. And now do what? Model dot add attribute, add attribute. On the front end, I want to address it as students, my students list. So now in the front end, I have to address as students, this students list. Now let's come to this student list HTML. Okay. So I have few templates. So we can use any one of that. Okay, so let's use ITV 204 Spring Boot and let's use its student list. This is customer list, right? So you have to change. So I'll just take a Control A, Control C and put it into my student list. Do a Control A and Control V. Now see what changes I am doing over here. Okay, so see what change. I'll share this file with you all. You all can also do the changes accordingly. So as of now, I do not want anything of the script. Okay, so whatever is not required, I'll delete everything. Or maybe comment that out rather, right? If you don't want it, comment it. But that will unnecessarily occupy space, no? So you all will be confused. So let's delete it. As of now, I don't have the ahref customer also. So I'll delete that also. Okay. So I don't have the categories also. I'll delete that also. There is no search button. Okay. So remove this entire form. Do one thing. Remove this entire form from here along with the add button. Remove everything. So this is just a simple table I am showing over here. Okay. And what are we showing? Student details, right? The student I'll replace wherever there is customer, I'll replace it with student. And what attributes of the students are we displaying now? We have a lot of attributes, right? We had a quite healthy entity. So we will be displaying about the student many things. We'll not display the roll number. We'll display his first name, last name, age, gender, date of birth, email. Okay, we won't display these two also. Okay, so I'll just copy this from here so that we have proper data and paste it here in the student. Some empty space, find some empty space and paste this. remove the rest. I just want the variable names. I just want the variable names so that they should be matching case by case. Okay, I brought them over here to my local file directly. Now, what do I want? Student first name, student last name, student. Do you want the student keyword in the table every time? No, right? We are showing student details, right? So table header only, this is sufficient, right? First name, last name, then we'll display either of them, either date of birth or age. So let's display date of birth. Then, then we will display the gender, and then we'll display the email, right? This much is sufficient. We'll not do the update delete right now. We'll see in the next step. Head is closed. Now the entire data has come from where? Students. And take it into one of, in every iteration, take it into student, right? And now from this student, once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and 5 times, correct? You'll paste it. Remove these last two TDs. These are not required as of now. We'll see when we need that. Okay. And now check the exact data. This should match. First name with first name. Last name with last name. Okay. And check the order also. Next is date of birth. So date of birth. Next is gender. Next is next is email, correct? All good. Okay, basic. I've taken a template and I've taken it from the bootstrap. Okay, so I've added that link also over here. So these classes are from bootstrap, right? Dark head, all this. I'll do a save. The code should refresh. It's refreshing. We are into what? Create or update? Update, right? We should have some data. So now let's go and try to hit which endpoint? Home, right? So now we'll go and check directly home. So do not write anything. Just do a home and it is showing you. Okay, this data we did not paste, remove. We did not remove that data, no? We should have been wise enough to have deleted that data. The reason I bought that data over here was it helps me copy paste it. Instead of typing, I would rather like copy pasting it. Control S, do a refresh. Okay. If you want to change the color, the theme of this, you can go to your bootstrap and try experimenting with it. Okay. And see, we are directly saying localhost this and direct, we are hitting the, so if you want to prefix something to all of your URLs that we had given CMS v1, remember? So we can add that to your properties file. So you can add this extension that every file should have a CMS. If I do a save now, application has restarted. Okay, now this route will not work directly. We'll throw 404. So we'll have to go where? slash C, this is SMS ना, स्टूडेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम कर देंगे ना, अपने हाथ में तो है कंट्रोल. ओके, SMS स्लैश V1 एंड रूट आ गया तो रूट आ गया. ठीक है ना. ओके, नाउ I want a button on the top to add a student. So I'll have a button on the top to, okay, so we can also have a heading to show list of students. So maybe on the top, H3 would have been fine. List of students and center it. क्या हो गया, दो दो क्यों आ गए भाई. कंट्रोल एस, रिफ्रेश करते हैं. ठीक है. Okay, now I want a button on top to add a new student. So on the top of this, what will we have? Add student. So that is what I had taken from here. So you can take a anchor tag and in hit a, so on top over here you can take an anchor tag and say what, add student. When the user clicks on this add student, you can go to which endpoint, register. All your anchor tag endpoint should be request mapping, should be request mapping. So now what will I do now? So if I do a control S now, you will see that it shows me a button, add student. And if I click on this add student, we'll go to which endpoint? Is this there? Come here. And it should not be there in that for the conflict part because we made a lot of controllers. So it's not there in this also, right? Register student, get student is there, save, it all saves, right? Okay. So now let's make a request mapping by what? Request mapping by the name register student. Okay. So now what we'll do over here is we'll open a form. We'll open a form, right? An HTML form. So what experience do you want when the user clicks on add student? A form should open up asking the user enter his first name, enter his last name, choose his date of birth, choose his gender, okay, and enter his percentage, and then we will click on send, save. Some sort of this form should open. Okay, which will ask him to enter first name, enter last name, then date of birth के लिए डेट पिकर ले लेंगे, जेंडर के लिए रेडियो बटन ले लेंगे और परसेंटेज के लिए टेक्स्ट बॉक्स ले लेंगे. As he clicks on save, this data will now go to the controller, correct? So what we have to do now, this is sandwiched, okay? Now this form which we are designing, this black color form, this is sandwiched between two controller endpoints. It is sandwiched between two controller endpoints. So try to understand this. So when I click on When I click on add student, it goes to which endpoint? Register student, right? So I write that over here, register student. Okay, what this will do is this will route to this form. So let's call this as register hyphen student.html. Where will this route it to? Which view? Register student form. We'll call it as which view? Dot html. So this will be a function, and as we are using controller, the return type is string for all of our functions. The string is the name of the, okay, so register student, and I will return to which view? Return register student. So this view should be there. Templates, right click, new, other, html dot html. Okay, so I've got the view. Now this view, so okay, so I'll sandwich it between two controller endpoints. So which controller endpoint is calling this? Register student. So register student will send to this view. It will send a empty student object. Will send a empty student object. This will populate that object and send it to another endpoint. Let's say save student. Let's say what? So save student is a different endpoint. So I'll make an empty student object over here. Student S1 is new student. Okay. Empty student object, the no args constructor. And this will have a model because I am sending from backend to front end, right? So to that model, I will add this empty student dot add attribute, and I will call it as the front end. I will call it as student what? The S1, and I will return to which one? Register student form. Okay. So now this empty student has come over here. So right now it is displaying all the empty details. So we'll show nothing, all will be blank. Then we'll populate this data. Whatever it is. Whatever, I guess this is his birth date, if I'm not wrong. I'll take male, percentage 78.5. So that empty object which had come of the student class, that empty object which had come of the student class, what had come over here? All empty, right? Nothing was there because I passed a empty object. ये नल थे सब. स्ट्रिंग्स क्या होते हैं एम्प्टी ऑब्जेक्ट में? नल होते हैं. इंटीजर्स आर 0. दिस इज 0.0. This is also null. This is also null. This is also null. Everything was what? Null. This object was sent. So this object was sent from the backend. So I use model. Now this object has been populated. Roll number that we did not send because it will auto increment. Okay, and age we can calculate later on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. है. What are you missing on? We did not take email. We did not take first name, last name, date of birth, gender, email. इसकी स्ट्रिंग की वैल्यू नल रहेगी. इंट की 0. यस. परसेंटेज है पूरा का पर है. पूरा परसेंटेज है. एक बार कंफर्म कर लो जाके. परसेंटेज पूरा है क्योंकि ये फिर छोटे छोटे मिस्टेक्स हो जाते हैं ना, ये एरर थ्रो करते हैं. ओके, सेव कर रहा हूँ मैं. So now I am populating this object now, the empty object which had come. I'll populate it and I'll send with the, okay, so now this becomes Virat, this becomes Oli, this becomes 78.5, this becomes male, this becomes 15, November 1989, and this becomes VK at the rate Gmail. So when you send this data, you had used model. Now to receive this, what will we use? At the rate model attribute in the which endpoint? Save student, and we are going to save. So this will be a post mapping. Okay, getting it? How the flow works? And then you can pass it to the service and repository, blah blah blah. So let's come. So when I come over here, now I have to make an empty object, right? Student S is new student, and to this model add an attribute which will be referred as student on the front end. Which one? Yes, and route it to which view? Student register form. So let's open the student register form. So let me open a good student register form which has the male and female option also. Okay. So I take this entire control A, control C. These templates you all have, right? We get it on the internet also. ITB first Springboot. Which one? Over here, right? Do a control A and control V, paste it. So this is what just change the the, the bootstrap link is added and student nav bar is there. If you want it, you don't want it, it's up to you. Okay, so if you want to see all the students, you can again click on that. Let's come here now. This is what is the important part. Create new student. So how many things do we need to create? First name, last name, date of birth, gender, percentage, and email also, right? You forgot to write email. So these six things we have to create and be very particular with the variable names. So variable names are over here, right? So let's copy them and paste it over here somewhere. Later on, we'll remove it. So over the container, I'm pasting it. Then I'll remove it later on because I want the exact names. So first is create student. So student, first name field. Now see, it should match with, okay, whatever data we are getting is coming in this object. Which one? From the front end, I had sent the empty object, right? Will be referred as student in the back end. So it is coming and I'm putting in the student. Okay. Then this we will see. This okay, this I'll tell you all what which endpoint to call over here. So as of now, just put a question mark over here. Okay, just keep this aside. Don't touch it. Just I'll tell you what to do. Student has come. So from that, first attribute is first name. So just change this star first name. Okay, rest is up to you if you want to change this first name. Okay, this is looking fine. Please hold on, everything is fine. Then student last name is last name fine. Just do it once from your end also. And we'll say enter last name. Yeah, rest all good. Then is customer email. Okay, so email is your third one. So let's not. Okay, let's. Third is your email. Email is done. Email is the same. Yeah, same spelling. Email is the same spelling. Okay. Input type is text and okay. The enter email. Next is phone. So we don't have phone. We'll rather use percentage then. For phone, we would rather use percentage. So replace phone with enter percentage and say percentage which field percentage and say enter percentage student percentage. Okay, and then we have date of birth DOB. So we'll have male and male option. The user selects this, value is returned as this. User selects this, value returned as this. Okay, and which attribute this is gender. And what have we done? Same gender. So gender comes over here then. Okay, so gender, we get gender over here. Now what is left? The DOB. So how should we do the DOB? Date of birth. So we'll just copy this and paste it and ask ChatGPT because then it gets the entire data, no, as to what we are uh, about to do. And we'll tell enter date of birth field. So what it is telling, label date of birth, type date, like this. Okay, so take the div, copy this div and put it over here. Alt Shift F, Control Shift F. Okay, student date of birth, date, name is DOB, form control, select date of birth. Okay, all good. And then as you click on register student, which was the endpoint in the normal which was saving a student with request body? This one. So take this as a post mapping, right? So I'll copy this entire student object over here. Okay, and put it in my FE because the task was more or less done. Okay, so we'll do save student. So here I will just say save student. And now instead of saying request body, I will say what? Model attribute. Okay, student S1 comes over here. Do you want the loggers? If you want the loggers, then we'll have to take the logger also from here, right? If you want to log your each task, take the logger also from here. Control Shift O, student controller FE, right? And logger is from where? Apache log4j logger, right? Okay, so logger also has come, taking the time milliseconds, logging. Okay, now what to return? If successfully added, we'll return back to this view, right? Home one. Okay, this one, right? Home. So we'll return to, okay, so we'll return to a string. We are sending a response entity, and if there is an exception, we will return. Okay, so this return type will be a string, right? Return type will be a string, and here return type will be a string. Okay, okay. So we will write to my errors. So there should be a view by the name new other HTML file my error dot HTML. And here you can just say unable to process tasks. Okay, now let's come back to the register form over here. Okay, in the FE. Okay. So once you have done successfully, then you can redirect it back. You can redirect it colon to back to the home, right? Yes. After successfully adding on all this will be logged in the database. If you're using logger, then okay, the configuration file will remain the same, right? That will not change. We have the configuration file. So everything is saved. Let's try to, and we haven't done save student over there, no? If everything goes well, if everything goes well, when we'll click on this register, we go to the action, and what is the action of this doing? Should give it to save student, which is a post mapping, right? Huh? Register student. Okay, looking good. So should we try to check with it now? Okay, let's try to add student. Form opens up. What is this 0.0? We haven't deleted all that stuff. We haven't deleted all that stuff which we have added over here, right? So do a control S. Okay. So first name. Okay. Give anything. Tim. Tim@gmail.com. Percentage 89.7 is a male. What is his date of birth? It has to be a past date, right? Huh? So let's say he says he was born in June 10th June 2003. Tim Tom. Okay, now all good, right? This student, I hope this mail is new one, doesn't conflict with this. Register student, and it registers that and shows back over here. Okay, we've done the entire end-to-end life cycle of how we can create a new resource. All good. Anyone having any issues? Okay, all good. So like this you can, and the logs also would have been generated, right? The logs also should have been generated. Logs and ITP. You see, ITP CMS dot log for 19th of February. Today is 21. So this has been rolled and all the new logs are coming in this. So this will have only today's logs. Okay, 21 to 21 to request received to add student Tim Tom. Service method invoked to add Tim Tom. Student added Tim Tom and spent how many? 108 seconds, millisecond it took to add Tim Tom. Making sense now? Everything is now, we are stitching it all together, whatever we have learned till now. So we have not passed the age, right? So what to do then? So once we have this object in the save student, and before sending it to the save student, so we can calculate the age. So I'll say a local date today equals to local date dot now. तो ये क्या देगा मुझे? आज का डेट दे देगा और लोकल डेट, हमने डेट स्ट्रिंग पास किया, लोकल डेट पास किया है, लोकल डेट ही किया है ना. सो लोकल डेट डेट ऑफ बर्थ, okay, let's just not conflict with it, will be what, ये पूरा इसमें आ गया ना, s1 डॉट गेट लोकल डेट ही है. ओके, अब इंटीजर एज विल बी द डिफरेंस बिटवीन them, local date dot, is there any method which finds the difference, will be what, today minus dob1, and now it is telling, okay, and let's log the age, let's log the age. Okay, so let's try to check what the actual function is. Yeah, that's what we are checking, no? That's what we are checking, what the actual age way of syntax is now. Okay, so you'll have to convert it to some units. Okay, it is telling example. So the difference is period between and period dot get years. What is the way of doing it? What is the way of doing it? Period between. So you just can't do it like this. You have to do it Control Shift O, the period between the DOB1 and today, and you want the age in get years from that. And then you can console.log the age, and also s1 dot, so once there, you also before sending it, s1 dot set age, the age also. Okay, let's see if all goes well. If all goes well, yeah, it has started. Let's try to hit the endpoint again now once more. Where was it over here? Where's our endpoint? Where's our local host which you are running? Was it over here? Right, let's do a rerun. Gets it. Add student. Shubman already है I guess, right? तो ठीक है कुछ भी करते हैं. Shubman new. Gil new. Email sg new @gmail.com. Percentage 87.6 mail. So if I scroll back 2005 June 8 and I register, it registers it. If I go and check his age for Shubman new, it's showing over here 90. Okay, and it's logging that in the logs as well. Reload the logs. Yes, took 23 seconds to add, and it is showing over here. Okay, so try to improvise and check all this. Okay, add is there, get, read is there. Now I want on every button I want update and delete. Okay, so what do I do now? I add these options of update and delete. So the code which we had initially, okay, I'll take it from here. Okay, I'll take it from here first. So customer list, and against every button I want two options, right? Update and delete. So I'll add them in the heading also first. This is our student list, right? And we'll add it over here also. So in every row we'll have two buttons, update and delete buttons. So we'll have two buttons over here, the update button and the okay, so let's take it from here. Let's take both the TD and paste it over here. Make sense? So first let's take the delete one. First let's take the delete one. Second button is the delete one, right? So whenever I want to delete, I will try to hit which endpoint. So we have a delete endpoint right over here. So on the student controller, old one, we have a delete mapping. Get mapping, get mapping, get mapping. Delete mapping, right? Yes, copy that. What is it? Delete student, right? And let's paste it in our method over here. Okay, so delete student and I'm passing the roll number to delete, correct? Similarly, over here from student list, I'll call what? Okay, just copy this endpoint as it is. Delete student. And what am I passing to it? RNO. And that RNO value is coming from where? Student dot RNO, right? What is the entity ID attribute? Yes, RNO, correct? So it's coming from RNO. And here I'm giving some buttons over here. And on the click of that, first I'll confirm it, right? First I'll confirm delete. So we'll make a function by what name? Where? In the JavaScript. So where is the JavaScript written in the head? Using the script tag, we'll have a function. And what will it return us? There is a confirm dialog box. There is a confirm dialog box which will say, do you wish to delete? So whatever it returns, if it yes, returns yes, I'll return yes. If it returns no, I'll returns. So delete is sorted. So delete with RNO, RNO, okay. RNO will be the student dot roll number. Yeah, I misspelled the RNO. Okay, so what is it showing? Ambiguous student cartography method. Two methods are ambiguous. Okay, that method was also there over here, no? Two methods are same, right? Yes or no? Two methods are same, correct? I will say what? FP. So I'll say what? Yeah. Okay, has it restarted now? Okay, and when I click on that, it will ask me for a confirmation. If everything goes well, it will delete it. Okay, update. There is no method as of now for update. So I hope it will load the file because it first checks and it doesn't load. Okay, as of now, all good. So let's go and hit refresh. Okay, so हाँ अपडेट का इशू आ रहा है ना अपडेट का कमेंट कर टेस्ट आईडी दिख रहा है इधर ये नहीं मिल रहा था ना उसको अपडेट कमेंट अब ठीक है डिलीट काम कर रहा है लेट्स से आई डिलीट टेस्टर क्लिक ऑन डिलीट it says do you want to delete okay okay and where will you reroute it where will you reroute it after deleting on same so return what redirect to the home page, right to the root right save has it restarted yes it has so let's go to the root delete tester okay what method are we using over here what method are we using over here to delete td right so when I use a hyperlink it goes with which mapping request mapping it goes with which mapping request mapping okay delete tester you want to delete it okay deletes and come backs over here delete tip tom You want to delete it? No, cancel it. Delete Shubman new. Don't want to delete it? Cancel it. Delete Shubman new. You want to delete it? Okay. Revert back over here. This was in the update column, right? So we'll fit it now. So we'll change the UI now. So let's give. Okay, now as it is, we'll comment this. Now this is interesting. Update will be interesting. So how update works? So how updates works? We knew, right? So whenever I wanted to update a particular, okay, so I would open up the update form first. How update worked? So first you have to open the form. Get student my first name. Get all students. So update student. Okay, here it is not there. So what we'll do, this is just updating, right? But what I'll do over here is when I try to hit the update button, when I have an update button over here, okay, so try to understand this concept. When the user hits the update button, I'll call the update student form, not directly update. I'll call which form and passing what as a parameter? The primary key. And that we are getting from where? That roll number I am getting from where? From the student dot roll number, correct? So currently when I click on the update button, what will happen? It will hit which endpoint? Update student form, which is having a path variable as roll number, correct? और number change नहीं किया. Okay, so far so good. So I should have this endpoint and I'm hitting it through a hyperlink. So I'll use request mapping over here. Quite similar to this, I would say. It's just I'll just check the update student form. ठीक है? अभी आ गया update student form. Now whichever button the user will click, update. So there's a button over here, update. With this form, a form will open with this details. So how do I fetch that details first? So I go to the student service and get that student. So what was that? Student service dot get student. No, that is in controller. No, I have get student function. Just give me the student, and now I will pass this student from here to the view, and I will say model dot add attribute. I will refer it as student. Which one? Student, and I will, like the way we had open register student form, I will open what? Update student form. What will I open? Update student form, and I will now make a, now I'll make a view, right? Which will open this student's detail on that form, correct? I do a copy. This is my templates, right? For Springboot. Right click, new, make a HTML file dot HTML. So we have the update student over here. Let's take that, Control A, Control C, and just we have to change the entity, right? Update student form. Control A, Control V. What will I say over here? manage system. Okay. Update student. Okay. Now we'll have customer. What all things are we going to take? Student name, and this will be, so get all those things over here which we had in the list. All these things will take it back over here and we'll put it in the update student form, right? So I'll write it above the form and I'll delete it. So first is student first name, that is a text. Okay. Name, you whatever name you want to give, first name. This should match. What is in the parentheses should match. Okay, then student last name, text, and what? Last name. This should match as it is. The capital N over here, right? So that should match from here. Placeholder if you want. Enter. Student last. The student first name, last name done. Then what? DOB. So student DOB. So DOB will be his. So that we can take from here. DOB in the register student form. DOB. Okay, so let's see if this works. See, we have input type as date, name, th field, class, and placeholder, right? All the same things. Yes or no? Type, name नहीं है सिर्फ, नेम भी है. ओके, इनपुट है, टाइप भी है, नेम है, सब कुछ सेम ही है. So take it from there. So why not then take all this div from that form only? Take all these divs. Okay, take all these divs from the student register form. Div form group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and date of birth also you are taking. Just take all these from here and paste it over here. What to change? Everything is same, right? Okay. Now when the user clicks, you should go on which endpoint? Customer with the what? Roll number. And that roll number will be of the student dot rno. And that student is coming from here, right? And I'm passing the student, and the method will be post. So I should have a post mapping for, I should have a post mapping for update customer, which is I think the roll number also, as well as the fully fetched object, correct? So we have the update endpoint. We can just use that. So just use this, right? Just take the roll number also and the updated object also. So let's copy this, put it over here. It's using a post mapping as of now. Let's first check for the happy scenario. Update student and passing the roll number, and in the model attribute I'm getting the new details, right? I'm trying to save that to the student service and return a string value, right? So same with the way I did for over here when I saved the students. So when I hit it, I did a return. Everything goes well. Do what? So now we are returning with the response, right? So in the save register student, this, right? So we will just say student service dot update student with this, right? And after that we will return over here. If anything happens, we will return to the my errors, correct? What was the name of the view? My errors. Okay, so I'll call the student service, pass the roll number which has got as a path variable and the model attribute which I've got, and I'll update it, right? Yes, and it's a post mapping, correct? So all good, I should say. Let's come over here, register, update student form. So now as he clicks on change the, okay, we'll make it FE, right? Update student FE. We should not have conflict with the REST controller, no? So update student FE. We'll call it as, because the same link is there in REST controller also, right? Update student FE. I've got all the details, all good. Let's come over here. Okay, take the student details and you can put it back. Okay, all good. Click on submit. When you click on submit, it goes to the action. And we have this action in place. Okay, looks perfectly fine to me now. So did we uncomment the update from student list? Yes, we have, right? So as I refresh now, it shows me update and delete. I click on Hardik. It opens up the current form. Okay, ये कचरा पट्टी निकाला नहीं क्या? कहाँ से? यहाँ से है ना? कंट्रोल एस कर दिया. आ गया हार्दिक पांड्या, ये सब आ गया. अब इसका परसेंटेज चेंज करता हूँ 78 से 79 तक. हाँ, डेट नहीं आया क्या? तो डेट ऑफ, और मेल फीमेल भी नहीं आया क्या? ओके, तो जेंडर तो हम इसे चेंज नहीं करेंगे. तो ओके, सो व्हाट डेट शुड हैव रिफ्लेक्टेड, राइट? His current date should have reflected. Okay, let's check. Let's first check and see if it's updating. And let's do a submit, and it is. Okay, तो ऐसा कर रहा है 78.5. किया क्या उसने? हार्दिक का 78.5 से मैं 78.9 कर रहा हूँ और मेल कर रहा हूँ और डेट ऑफ बर्थ कर रहा हूँ 5 फरवरी 25। 78.5। अब फॉर्म तो खुल रहा है राइट, और वो अपडेट नहीं कर रहा है. Let's check what is the problem. So when form is opening means this much is doing fine. Now it's a matter of year. Is there any issue happening over here? Update student FE, the post mapping. So update student FE, roll number I've taken. Student service update student with roll number and new detail redirect over here. ओके, ये सब चीज़ें वो टेस्टिंग कर रहा है. ईमेल, ओके वो सब ये सेट कर रहा है ना, ईमेल एज, बाकी चीज़ें सेट ही नहीं कर रहा है. ईमेल एज वो सब, ये चारों चीज़ें सेट कर रहा है ना अपडेट में. अपने को 7 चीज़ें सेट करनी है. अपने को क्या सेट करनी है? 7 चीज़ें सेट करनी है ना पूरी. 6 चीज़ें ना. तो 6 चीज़ें क्या क्या है? ईमेल है, एज है, ठीक है. तो एज विल कैलकुलेट अगेन नाउ because the age will update. Yes or no? So where did we calculate the age in the student FE controller when you are trying to save it, right? So again the age will calculate again. Where are we? In the student controller FE of the service. तो सर्विस में डालना पड़ेगा ना अभी, क्या उसको? ओके अभी इधर आ जा अपडेट सर्विस में. एक बार ये ऑब्जेक्ट आ गया, फिर इसकी हमने अब लोकल डेट नाउ, और किस कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट है ये? स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम डेटाबेस राइट. उसका गेट डीओबी करेंगे. पीरियड बिटवीन आ गया, एज आ गया, करेक्ट. अब सेट एज क्या करेंगे? ये वेरिएबल एज कर देंगे, है ना. तो ऑब्जेक्ट डॉट रिक्वायर एज सेट करें ना अपन. क्या? हाँ नहीं, तो यहाँ पर वो चेंज हो रहा है ना. एज 1 सेट कर रहे हैं ना अपन उसको. नहीं नहीं, सेव हो जाएगा डायरेक्ट. ये सर्विस मेथड है ना, वो थोड़ी कंट्रोलर मेथड है. वहाँ कुछ भी नहीं कर रहा है अपन. वैसे डायरेक्ट सर्विस का मेथड है, कंट्रोलर मेथड थोड़ी है वो. तो क्या है सर्विस? So age has been set. Email age. So I should remove this one, right? So email, first name, last name, age. दो चीज क्या बची अभी? तो इसकी वजह से शायद वो नहीं कर रहा था बाकी चीजें चेंज. न्यू डिटेल्स डॉट गेट dob will be get dob and new details dot get percentage ना. जेंडर ही बाकी था क्या? डॉट जेंडर. ओके. और क्या करना है? परसेंटेज एज की तरह काम करेगा. जो हमारा नंबर वेरिएबल था ना। हाँ, डॉट सेट डीओबी हो गया, राइट। ऐसे क्या करेंगे, ये भी क्या है, डॉट सेट जेंडर है, और ऐसा ये क्या है, डॉट सेट परसेंटेज है, डॉट गेट परसेंटेज डॉट गेट परसेंट। ओके, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 है ना। Now let's come and refresh this. Now let's update Hardik. Okay, Hardik किए पांडिये, हार्दिक न्यू 78.78 मेल। ठीक है, एंड सबमिट। हार्दिकीय पांडिये हो गया मेल, और एज भी देख लेते हैं, एज भी अपडेट हो गई रहेगी, है ना। हार्दिक क्या क्या दिखा रहा, 33 दिखा रहा ना एज, अब कम हो जाएगी ना, क्या होगी, कम हुई, 2006 हो गया ना, 19 ईयर्स, 2006 से 19 ईयर्स का हो गया ये, है ना। नहीं नहीं, ईमेल, फर्स्ट नेम, लास्ट नेम, एज, जेंडर, परसेंटेज, कौन सा, हाँ, कौन सा, कौन सा। एक काम करते हैं, डायरेक्टली ऐसे डाल देते हैं, एज वन डाल देते, ठीक है, देखेंगे बाद। ओके, so now let's go and update Hardik's age to 2018। ठीक, हो गया, और डेटाबेस में आ चाहिए 7 साल। आगे, अब 19 आ रहा है, अब पुराना आ रहा है ना, एक एक करके लैग कर रहा है। यस सर। हाँ, न्यू डिटेल से लेंगे ना एज, we'll take the new details age, right? So today and the date from, not from the database but from the, so whatever the new detail age is coming, minus that from the now, right? Okay, so now let's try to update Hardik's age to 2023. Okay, 2nd February, and submit. So now he's 2 years old. Okay.